Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new trailer reaction video. This is, of course, Cinema Savvy, and I am still Chris. And I am here today to talk about the first official teaser trailer for Black Widow, which is Marvel Studios' upcoming, upcoming entry in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're continuing the Marvel Cinematic Universe now. I think this will be the 24th film. I might be wrong in saying that. But why this is a big deal, this is the first entry in Marvel Studios' Phase 4 of the Cinematic Universe. We all probably thought it was going to end with Endgame. We knew it wasn't going to end with Endgame. They were just getting started. So this is starting the ball rolling. This is starting afresh, building up to the next big cataclysmic film, whichever that's going to be in 10 plus years' time. And this is the first one, Black Widow, of course, starring Scarlett Johansson, also starring David Harbour. You've got Rachel Weisz in there. You've got a big cast in this one. And the fact that it's Black Widow in general is very interesting in and of itself. So before I get into my trailer reaction, I do want to say, if you guys want to follow us on social media, links will be appearing at the bottom of the screen right now. Facebook at /Cinema Savvy, Twitter at Cinema_Savvy, and also the same for Instagram as well, Cinema_Savvy right there. Let us know what you thought of the Black Widow trailer. Haven't got to my reaction yet. I'll be getting to that just a minute. I'm going to give it a brief little introduction, but also the comments are going on this. This is a live stream discussion. It's not just me discussing this thing. It'd be great to get a conversation going with you guys as well. So please, as the stream goes on, if you want to, I encourage you to just comment along as we talk about this movie and Marvel in general. So this is kind of weird, and this is going to be major spoiler alert for Endgame as well. I think everyone now, if you've pretty much seen Endgame, if you're a Marvel fan, if you're a comic book fan, you've seen Endgame. It's made over $2 billion at the box office, so chances are you're probably one of those people that paid to go and see that movie. Final warning, Black Widow died in that movie. And the very next movie, the very next movie we got after that was Spider-Man Far From Home. Fair enough. But then your first one of Phase 4 is going to be a solo movie on a character who's already died. Not just that, but also kind of a bit part character. I know she was kind of a major character, but she wasn't like a major character in the sense that, you know, Iron Man or Captain America or Thor or anyone like that was. She was still quite a secondary character. And you're doing a solo movie on her character. Okay, fine. I'm wondering if this is in retaliation to, and I don't want to spark a whole DC Marvel dispute, appreciate both of them for what they are. I'm wondering if this was done in retaliation to DC bringing out Wonder Woman and that making all the money and that being very well received. We've seen this trend a lot now in Hollywood at the moment. It's almost like one of the fads at the moment is like an all-female reboot of something, or strong female independent characters, blah, blah, blah. So Black Widow fits right at home of that. My take on it is that I'm fine with a Black Widow solo movie. However, we're getting this movie in 2020. To me, this is a movie that should have been made in 2010. Right around the time that her character was introduced into the MCU in Iron Man 2, I think that the first Avengers film was a good enough introduction for her character, but I think if you were going to do any kind of solo movie around her character, that would have been the time to do it. Especially around about the time as well where we get to Avengers Age of Ultron and we get some very brief flashbacks to her time in this kind of ballerina school, which I think, and forgive me as well, I don't know much about Black Widow's history in the comic books or anything like that. So if I seem a bit hazy on stuff, that's the reason why. That's the disclaimer. We almost saw like it was like a ballerina school, which was also doubling up for this sort of secret service espionage kind of, spy organization thing, going through this rigorous training, very brutal upbringing in order to train her to be this badass killing machine that would be the Black Widow. But we didn't really get much past that. And it seems very strange now, especially where you're starting this brand new story that we're going to start with Black Widow. Now, I know that this is set after Civil War, so it is going to flash back to her history, I'm sure, but it's not like a direct prequel to a lot of the stuff we've seen in the MCU. This is going to take place right after Civil War, and that will be why they decide to do that. It's just, I'm very curious on the placement, especially because her character died, and it feels strange, and even Marvel with their TV shows now, in their Disney Plus TV shows coming out, it feels like they're going back and retreading on stuff that really doesn't need to be explained and really doesn't, really doesn't need to be filled in. Her character died, all the gaps were filled in. I don't really know what else you can say about the character by flashing back and telling us her backstory. before you get to Endgame, for example. This is a difficult case because this movie is being made in hindsight of Endgame already coming out. When Endgame came out, there were no plans. Well, I mean, I'm sure there were plans, but in terms of narrative, a narrative structure, is anything in this Black Widow movie going to directly relate to anything that we see in Endgame? Because Black Widow is kind of minimal in that movie. Like, she serves a function and she sacrifices herself to get one of the stones back for the team, but beyond that, she's just kind of another face in the whole lineup of the Avengers. So, I mean, I am looking forward to this if they can, if they can pull something out of the bag with this. But I'm curious as to why they feel the need to go back and do this, other than the fact that it's going to make all the money. And I'm sure there are some fans of Black Widow out there. We've got Lucas McManus in the comments. He's put, I'm going to bring the comment up now. I kind of thought they've left it too late to do a Black Widow film now. However, I was still looking forward to this. And now this trailer has got me hyped for this now. Looks really good, I think. Right, well, I think that's a good enough segue to get right into the trailer now. So as always, I am recording this without earphones on, so the audio that you'll hear from the trailer will be picked up directly from my mic from my Mac that's playing right now. So hopefully you guys can hear it. I'll probably be messing with the audio levels throughout. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. So I'm just about to share screen. If you guys give me a second. Right, okay. So I'm going to be full screening this. So I can't see you guys. I can't see you guys' comments. So please do comment throughout. I'm about to give my live reaction to this now. And then as soon as I've done here, I'll go back to the comments and I'll read what you guys have said throughout. So with all that being said, I'm going to click play now.
I used to have nothing. And then I got this job, this family. But nothing lasts forever.
Heard you had to leave in a hurry.
It's never easy these days.
So what are you going to do?
I've lived a lot of lives, but I'm done running from my past.
I like that sound. That's really, really cool.
I know you know I'm out here. So we're gonna talk like grown-ups? Is that what we are?
This looks cool. The action looks very grounded. It's like very John Wick hand-to-hand combat.
What brings you home? We have unfinished business. We have to go back to where it all started.
Superhero landing.
One thing's for sure. It's gonna be a hell of a reunion.
Oh, is this Red Guardian?
Still fits. Family.
Family.
Back together again.
What is this? Is this like Fast and Furious or something? All this talk of family? He looks cool. Ah, okay. Whoa, that is green screen. That is major green screen. Okay, you know what? That doesn't look half bad. I agree. I agree with Lucas here. That trailer was actually pretty decent. I will say, I need to backtrack. At the beginning of the trailer with the hand-to-hand stuff, I said this looks like a really kind of grounded, down-to-earth movie. It doesn't look like your big, bombastic Marvel movie. And then right at the end, she does a free fall and she's pushing rubble out the way as she's falling, which is completely impractical and looks completely over the top and really fakey fake. But it's a superhero movie. I guess you're going to have that in there, as much as I kind of wish they'd have sort of pulled back a little bit more with this one. I don't really have much to say, in all honesty. As I said, like, I don't know much about the history of the Black Widow character and anything like that. I know that the guy from Stranger Things, David Harbour, he's playing a character called Red Guardian. He looks like maybe back in the day he was some kind of big hotshot superhero. He's let himself go a bit. He's gone the way of Fat Thor, I guess. He's picked up the donuts. He's been playing Fortnite. He's been chilling. He's been drinking lots of beer. And now he's overweight, but he's still, he's still a force to be reckoned with. So that would be pretty cool. I'm wondering if he's part of the organization or if he's kind of like a standalone character. As I say, if anyone knows any stuff about these comic book characters, please do get commenting, let me know so I can know a little bit of the history. I tend to always read through like Wikipedia pages and stuff before going to see these movies anyway, to get an understanding of the origin of the character and how they've changed it for the movie. I wanted to talk about Scarlett Johansson very, very quickly. I've never been a massive fan of her acting, in all honesty. Like she's always been fine to me, like just fine. In most films, she just seems very bored and very monotone and very samey. Look her in the Ghost in the Shell movie that came out, for example. She's basically pretty much exactly the same character as she's playing in Black Widow. Even the Black Widow character, I've never been too hot on. Like she's standard. She's fine. She's, I get that's her character. I know that she's gone through all this training. She's like a hardened, like badass kind of character. And she does show moments of vulnerability, but she's just been a very uninteresting character to me. Maybe this is going to change my mind on that. Maybe now that we're going to have this and it's going to flash back. And if you do watch the Marvel films in chronological order, maybe her death will have more impact if this is a very emotive film and sort of highlights more of a character. But I just wish we'd have had this already. As Lucas said, like, I think this is something we should have had, 10 years ago or so. We've got Claudia in the comments. She puts, I haven't seen anything in this trailer to feel pumped about the movie, and it's a shame because the character deserved better. As I said, it does feel weird how they're going back to the, they're mining stuff that's already been done, essentially. They're going back to the well. It's very strange. Even the TV shows, we're getting a Loki TV series. Now, other than the thousands of squealing Tom Hiddleston fans out there, is anyone really looking forward to that? To me, I've had major Loki burnout. I'm completely fatigued on Loki. Sorry. I don't need him anymore. When he died at the beginning of Infinity War, I thought, okay, that's a fitting end for his character. He did try and defend his brother. He had that moment there and then was killed by Thanos. When we get to Endgame and they flash back and we see him again, it felt like, oh, here we go again. But I get that was time travel, so it makes sense that he'd be there. But now he's getting his own TV series. And then we've learned as well that the Loki TV series is tying in directly to Doctor Strange 2. So like it or not, we've got to watch these TV shows as well. Not only is it going to be 3 to 4 movies a year, which 3 Marvel movies a year was already burnout for me. Now we're adding a 4th one into the mix and a bunch of TV shows as well. To me, that's just going to be way too much. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep up with everything. And how do you guys feel as well that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is continuing in general? I know there are hundreds of other characters they can develop. I know Disney now, they've acquired the rights to 20th Century Fox. They now have the rights back to X-Men and Fantastic Four and a bunch of other side characters related to those projects. So there's definitely a lot more stories they can tell, a lot of other things they can build to, but I don't know about you guys, but I felt like Endgame was the end. Like the namesake alone, Endgame. Even the credits, how they kind of signed off with an autograph from the actor, and it kind of went through your main lineup of characters. It felt very final. It felt like a very kind of end of an era to what was the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It felt like a very fitting conclusion. It tied up everyone's plot threads mostly, and it was a very emotive ending, I thought. And now we're getting more. I think this movie is going to be the tell. I think this is going to be the movie that I won't say makes or breaks the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because they're getting all the money anyway, so they can afford to continue it. But in terms of audience interest, we see this so often with movies. We see trends in film across all the decades. The spaghetti western, of course, is the biggest example to go to here, where they were very popular. A lot of people were watching them. And then because they were so cheap to make, everyone pumped them out and audiences grew tired of them and moved on to something else. That is how we are as consumers. That is how we are as film goers. We latch onto something that's great. In the music industry as well, we see this for so long. Like when you have genres and trends, you had disco in the 70s, you had hair metal in the 80s and everything like that. And then it moved to grunge. We see these patterns and trends. And, the superhero films at the moment are very lucrative for the most part. Some don't make all that much money, but the Marvel ones certainly do have that track record where they have earned the trust essentially with the consumer. But is it going to be too much? Is the Marvel Cinematic Universe going to collapse on itself like a dying star? And it will. It's only a matter of time. It might not be with this movie. It might not be with the Eternals. It might not be with a couple of movies in a couple of years' time. But at some point, it is all going to come crashing down. And to me, like, I could easily be done with Endgame. Like, that movie came out. It was fine. You know, I'm not a massive fan of Endgame. It was okay. I enjoyed it. The ending was very cool, and it did have some awesome moments. But I could quite easily tap out now of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And maybe that's how they framed it. Maybe with Black Widow, they're going in with, this is the start of phase 4. This is a character you remember. So we're going to get you back in, you know, and gain your trust again before we move into all of this new content. Maybe that's their reasoning behind it. I'm not really sure. Let's see what else we have here. Lucas says, with her sacrifice in Endgame, I think they should have released this Black Widow film instead of Captain Marvel before Endgame. I completely agree, although that might have been a bit weird to see Captain Marvel just randomly show up, like, who is this chick, unless they rewrite it and then bring in Captain Marvel afterwards. Yeah, no, I kind of agree with that. I can see what you're saying there, but as I said, this is a movie made with hindsight. So I don't really see this film having, I could be wrong, but I don't see this film having all that much impact for Endgame. You know, Black Widow is very much just sort of a background character in Infinity War. She does a bit of fighting and then she sacrifices herself, and she has a bit of camaraderie with Hawkeye, Jeremy Renner's character. That's basically her character. So I don't really know how much new stuff they can add to this one. Claudia says, Scarlett Johansson has grown on me. I also didn't like her all that much, but I think she's gotten better. As I said, she's very hit and miss to me. I really liked her in, can I say I liked her in Her? She basically just supplied a voice. But, you know, that's still voice acting. I thought she was good in that. Lost in Translation, I love that film. But again, I thought the chemistry between her and Bill Murray was great. But her herself, she was just fine. I don't think I've seen that movie yet where I've been really, really enamored with her. And I think is she in Marriage Story? The new movie coming out with, oh God, what's his name? Kylo Ren. Adam Driver. It's going to be one of the Oscar films. I think it comes out on Netflix this Friday. And that's apparently one of the biggest ones. We do have a review for it on the channel. I know that George and Tate managed to go and see that when they went to London Film Festival, and I think they're pretty much hailing that as one of the best of the year. So I'd like to check her out in that, if it is indeed her who's in that film. I believe it is. And maybe she does turn in a really great performance in that movie. Let's see what else we have here. Claudia says, after Endgame, all I'm pumped about is Blade, if it's R-rated. Well, I don't think it's going to be R-rated. I'm not sure if they have confirmed or denied that at all, but I would expect if it's going to be in the cinematic universe, it's going to be very much toned down, just like all the other movies are. I'm also excited for Blade, but I do think Blade belongs into the Marvel Knights, and I could have seen a Blade TV series more in vein of Netflix's Daredevil and the series that they did, the more adult ones. You could make your ties to this Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it was very much its own thing. It was very adult. It was very grounded for the most part. And sadly, like, I don't even want to get into that with the Netflix Marvel series. Yes, they did dip in quality, but my God, Daredevil was one of the best TV shows ever put to screen, one of the best realizations of a comic book character, any kind of character from any media. And so far, at least Daredevil season 1 easily surpasses anything in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in terms of complexity, writing, acting, drama, emotion. It's such a shame. Such a shame what happened to that series. Claudia also says, she's taking the limelight here, guys. I'm also not planning on getting Disney Plus. If the shows are all going to have the same tone as The Mandalorian, no thanks. Yeah, so we do Mandalorian reviews every week. I've found the series is, I'm going to say, this is the word of the day by the sounds of it, it's fine. I'm waiting to see where it goes. I'm excited to see where it goes. There are a lot of questions that need to be answered. Whether they're all going to be answered in this season, I don't know. But, you know, I'm going to see where it goes, but I'm kind of with you there. And it's going to get really out of hand. I don't know if we discussed this actually on one of the Mandalorian reviews when we went on to the subject of Marvel. When it gets to the stage of where you're expected, where you have to watch these series, the Loki series, the WandaVision series, again, another character where they're going back. Vision died. Is there any point in going back? What other series are we getting? We're getting, the Winter Soldier and Falcon. All of these series, when they're mandatory that you have to watch them in order to make sense of the films, that's going to be a problem to me. I wish the series were more, optional there. If you love your Marvel stuff and you can't get enough of it, and the movies just aren't doing it enough for you, you've got those TV shows there that you can go and watch and you can enjoy, and you've got 6 to 10 hours of content there as well that you can watch that doesn't directly, it might marginally relate to the films, but not to the point where it's going to derail the narrative. But the fact that, Loki is probably going to show up in some way, or an event in the Loki series is going to have a direct impact onto Doctor Strange 2, that's a problem to me. Let's see what else we have. Lucas says, I'm looking forward to Phase 4, mainly Black Widow, Doctor Strange 2, and Thor 4. The others look okay. Phase 3 was epic in my opinion, though, so I expect Phase 4 to look kind of average. Before we do that, let's take a look at Phase 4, what we've got. Let's remind ourselves of the movies that we've got in Phase 4. Because there's so many Marvel movies that come out that I just completely keep losing track. So let me just refresh myself real quick. Okay, so we've got Black Widow, the Eternals. I don't know much about the Eternals, in all honesty. I'm assuming they're just some kind of intergalactic, kind of like X-Men characters, maybe. Sort of like Guardians of the Galaxy mixed with X-Men, I guess. I'm expecting that to be more like Captain Marvel, in all honesty. Not excited for that. We've got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. The fact that it's the Ten Rings is very interesting, because I'm wondering if it's going to tie in with the Mandarin. We all know how much Iron Man 3 completely ruined the character of the Mandarin, a character I was very much looking forward to. And for the first half of that film was a fantastic updated portrayal of that character. I know they did a little short film on one of the DVDs saying that the twist in Iron Man 3, they did a twist on a twist, and that the Mandarin is actually still out there, the real one, the real comic book Mandarin. Could be interesting, could be a fun martial arts movie, but again, not massively looking forward to it. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, the fact that it's got multiverse in there, I cannot wait for that. I really hope it goes the way of the Spider-Verse. But with Sony's and Marvel's deal, I don't see that happening. We've got a Spider-Man sequel, which will probably be the final Spider-Man film in the MCU, I wouldn't doubt. And then we've got Thor, Love and Thunder. I wasn't a massive fan of Thor Ragnarok. In fact, I think that might be my least favorite Thor movie. I'd probably have to go back and watch Thor The Dark World again, because that was very bad as well. But that overly comedic tone for Thor really didn't work for me, and I really missed the tone they went for with Kenneth Branagh's first Thor movie. But I think it's going to be fine. It's going to be Phase 5, which is going to be the one that I'm hoping for. I want a Silver Surfer movie. I want a Fantastic Four remake. Maybe Doctor Doom can be the next big bad guy they build up to, because that could be awesome. Finally do Doctor Doom some justice. If they do an X-Men reboot, I'm not really sure how they could tie X-Men into their current narrative in the MCU, but I'm sure there's a way they can do it and make it really comic booky. There's a lot of expectations, and there's a lot of intrigue, and there's a lot of excitement that could possibly be had from a Phase 5 with all of that. But we've got to get through this phase first, and what this is taking us up to 2021. So not all that long, but a lot of movies in that time. But I need to jump on another reaction now, so I will be shutting this down right now. I'll be going live probably in about 10 minutes time. I'll give myself a little break, and I will be going live for the new James Bond trailer that just came out today. So if you guys are sticking around, it'd be great to see you over there. I'm going to end this one for right now. Thank you to everyone in the comments that's talked Marvel with me right now. And if you're sticking around, hopefully see you on the James Bond discussion, which will be going live in probably about 10 minutes time. So thank you very much. And until the next video, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.